Okay, let's unpack this. We've all been taught that, good marketing means you just have to shout loud enough for everyone to hear.
Cast the widest net possible, right?
Exactly. But what if that conventional wisdom is, well, it's precisely why most businesses fail. The truly surprising truth, and this is really the foundation of our entire deep dive today, is that most businesses struggle because they are trying to serve everyone.
That insight doesn't just cut to the core of modern strategy, it completely flips the script on what marketing is supposed to be. Today, we are really immersing ourselves in the blueprint laid out by Seth Godin.
Specifically from his, 2018 book, This is Marketing?
That's the one, hugely influential.
And Godin, he's a powerhouse. He's written, 20 books? He founded Squidoo, lectures at Stanford.
Right, but we're not here for a history lesson. The compelling thing about these sources is that Godin just explicitly rejects all the quick tricks, the tactical hacks.
Yeah. He insists the entire game has shifted. It's no longer about volume.
It's about connection.
Exactly. So our mission today is to analyze 5 fundamental principles from his work that directly and dramatically improve the most critical metric for any business.
Conversion rate.
Conversion rate, the percentage of people who find you, who actually stop what they're doing and decide to buy from you.
So if you're feeling overwhelmed by just the sheer volume of marketing noise out there, these 5 principles are basically the blueprint. We're going to build this strategy piece by piece.
Yeah, starting with audience, then identity, differentiation, creating urgency, and then finally, building trust.
All right, let's do it.
Let's start with that revolutionary idea right at the top of the pyramid. Principle 1, the smallest viable audience, the SVA.
And this is where we hit that biggest, most expensive mistake businesses make. The instinct is just to cast the widest net you possibly can.
And Godin says that's fundamentally backwards. If you try to appeal to the whole world, you just end up boring the entire world.
So the focus has to shift entirely, from expansion to density. Exactly. You stop asking, how many people can I reach?
Yeah.
And you start asking, who's the smallest group I can serve exceptionally well?
The smallest group that can still sustain the business.
That's the key. And then you serve them so perfectly, so uniquely, that they feel like they can't afford to go anywhere else.
I find that commitment to shrinkage, so it's counterintuitive. Because the fear is always, if I narrow my focus too much, I'll miss out.
Of course, you'll miss out on potential market share. But that's the genius of what he calls the dilution factor. When you aim for a mass audience, you use diluted, generic language.
And it's instantly forgettable.
Totally. But when you laser focus on that smallest viable audience, you speak their precise language. You highlight their exact pain points, and suddenly you are not just a choice.
You're the obvious choice.
Yes. And the business impact on your budget is immediate. Instead of burning money trying to convert thousands of people who don't care.
Which is the definition of low conversion, high cost marketing.
Exactly. You dedicate your investment to deeply connecting with, say, a few hundred people who become loyal customers and, more importantly, powerful advocates. That's how conversion rates actually skyrocket.
Let's make that tangible. The sources give a great example with an online course for graphic design.
Oh, yeah. The typical pitch is just doomed to fail. It's like, learn graphic design, beginners to advanced, master every tool.
It's competing in a global ocean of noise. The value is zero. Now, contrast that with the SVA approach. You target a very specific person.
Like graphic design for real estate agents who want to create their own property listing graphics instead of paying designers $200 per listing.
Bam. Right there, you've defined a niche with a clear income stream, a clear time constraint, and a really clear financial pain point.
In your whole course, your marketing copy, your testimonials, it all suddenly becomes laser focused on listing templates, virtual staging, quick results.
And for that specific real estate agent, the risk of buying your course just plummets. They see themselves in the message. They think, this wasn't made for the world, it was made for me.
Precisely. The tragic irony Godin highlights is that trying to serve everyone means you serve no one well. You waste money on content that's so generic, nobody ever shares it, and you just stay stuck.
Okay, so once we identify who we serve, our smallest viable audience, the next logical step is figuring out why they buy. Which brings us right to principle 2.
People like us do things like this.
I love that phrasing.
It's all about psychology. Godin says we are fundamentally tribal. We don't make buying decisions based on a spreadsheet of features or pure logic.
We buy based on identity, that desire to belong.
Yeah. When people consider a product, they're subconsciously asking, does this choice reinforce who I am, or who I want to become.
So a buying decision is really just identity reinforcement. Choosing your product is a signal to yourself and to the world about your values or your goals.
Which means marketing's job isn't to convince the logical brain. It's to invite people into a story about who they already are.
And that just completely changes your messaging. You stop selling features. You stop saying, our software has 47 features, including an AI module.
Ugh. Right. Instead, you sell the identity that the software enables.
So you'd say something like, our software is for founders who ship fast and iterate based on customer feedback. That's not a list of features.
No, it's an invitation to join the founder who ships fast club.
And that's the connection back to conversion, right? When you align with identity, the perceived risk of buying just drops. If I see myself as a fast shipping founder and your software is for me.
The internal debate is over. The purchase is just a necessary tool to maintain that identity. That tribal loyalty doesn't just get you repeat purchases, it drastically improves that initial conversion because the buyer knows they belong.
And then they become your marketing department. They're advocates. They defend the brand. They recruit others into the tribe.
That's the exponential power of community. Think about the accounting firm example again. The feature-based message, tax preparation, bookkeeping, competitive rates.
It sounds like every other CPA on the planet, and it immediately forces you into a price war.
Exactly. You just attract price shoppers who will leave for a $10 discount.
But the identity-based message focused on a specific SVA says what?
It says, we're accountants for creative entrepreneurs who'd rather spend time on their craft than spreadsheets.
Oh, that's good. That shows immediate, deep understanding of their internal conflict. They see finances as a necessary evil.
And you position yourself as the empathetic partner. You're selling peace of mind to the creative, not efficiency to the CFO. That's the whole difference.
Okay, so we've defined the smallest viable audience and we understand the identity that drives them. Now the next challenge is competition, which brings us to the wonderfully counterintuitive principle 3, better is overrated.
This is often the hardest pill for founders to swallow. We're conditioned to believe that if we just build a superior product, a better mousetrap, success is guaranteed.
But Godin says in crowded markets, better is what? Subjective and invisible.
Subjective, easily copied, and often completely invisible. So if not better, then what?
Different.
Different. Different gets noticed. Being different lets you create a whole new category where you are, by definition, the only choice. You stop trying to beat the competition at their game.
And you change the game entirely.
Right. And here's where the revenue analysis gets really interesting. If you're 10% better than your competitor, you're easily copied, and customers are still comparing you on price.
But if you're fundamentally different,
You are defensible. You're incomparable. And suddenly, price becomes a secondary factor.
that allows for premium pricing, better margins, you escape that race to the bottom. But how do you square that with actually having a quality product? I mean, he's not saying make a bad product, is he?
No, not at all. He's saying that market visibility and defensibility come from difference, not from marginal improvement. Look at a saturated market like coffee.
Okay.
The better approach is about the highest quality beans, the latest machine, expert baristas. It's excellent, but it's still just coffee.
And there are 5 other places on the same block claiming the exact same thing.
But the different approach, as seen in the sources, is the concept of the silent coffee shop.
I love this.
No music, no talking above a whisper, for people who need complete focus for deep work. And they enforce the rules strictly.
That is a fascinating strategy because you're actively repelling the large social group that wants to chat.
And you're attracting the focused thinker who is probably willing to pay a premium for that environment. That alienation is the strategy.
It's brilliant.
Or think about a marketing agency. The better approach is, we have 15 years experience and certified experts.
Generic.
But the different approach is, we only work with eco-friendly product companies. We've generated $50 million in sales for sustainable brands. We won't take your account if your product harms the planet.
So they deliberately shrink their potential market by 90%.
But for that 10%, for their SVA, they command premium prices because their expertise in that tiny niche is incomparable. They're the only choice for that specific identity.
That makes perfect strategic sense. But even with the perfect different product for the perfect small audience, there's still the problem of inertia. People are comfortable doing nothing.
Which leads us straight to principle 4. Tension creates action.
This is the uncomfortable truth about sales, isn't it?
It is. People are comfortable being stuck. They don't buy when they are complacent. They buy when there is a recognized tension, a gap between where they are now and where they want to be.
And isn't there a risk here that this slips into, manipulation? Creating tension sounds like manufactured urgency or fear.
That's a crucial question. And Godin is very clear. This has to be honest tension. It has to reflect a genuine gap the buyer already feels. Your job isn't to fabricate that gap.
It's to articulate it clearly.
Exactly. Articulate it, highlight the cost of inaction, and then immediately offer a credible path to resolution.
Without that acknowledged tension, there's no urgency. The conversion stalls. I'll think about it. It's just a comfortable way of saying no.
Right. Tension moves people from thinking to acting. It leads to faster decisions, much higher conversion rates. You have to shine a light on the pain of the current reality before the value of your solution can really sink in.
Like the example of the online course for systemizing a small business, the no tension approach is just mild. Organized processes, better efficiency.
And the business owner thinks, yeah, that sounds nice. Maybe next year.
But the honest tension approach has to be sharper. You're working 60-hour weeks, but your business can't run without you. Last month, you canceled a family vacation. Your business owns you instead of you owning it.
Oof. That creates a powerful psychological gap. A clear conflict that the owner feels they have to resolve now.
And when you anchor that with specific numbers, the impact is overwhelming.
Yeah, the website consultant example. Instead of just talking about conversion rates, they calculate the cost of the status quo. They say, your site gets 10,000 visitors a month, but only 50 sales. That means 9,950 interested people left without buying.
And if the average order is, say, $100.
Then the consultant can say, that means you are leaving $995,000 in potential revenue on the table every single month.
Wow.
That number isn't just tension. It reframes a consultant from an expense to a partner who's stopping a massive financial hemorrhage. The conversion rate on that pitch will be exponentially higher because the risk of inaction is now crystal clear.
That's a powerful driver. But now we hit the final crucial piece, sustainability, which is principle 5, permission and trust.
Right. If the first 4 principles get you a high conversion rate short term, this 5th one ensures you survive long term. Because traditional interruption marketing,
Buying ads, forcing your message on strangers.
it's just losing effectiveness. Ad costs are rising, attention spans are shrinking, ad blockers are everywhere. That game is basically over.
So how do we move beyond that interruption economy?
The only sustainable, scalable path is earning permission. The audience voluntarily opting in to hear from you and building trust. They believe you'll keep your promises and provide genuine value.
It's slower to start, I imagine.
Much slower. But its growth compounds over time like a fortress being built.
This sounds like a shift from thinking about cost centers to building assets. Interruption marketing is an operational cost that just goes up every year.
But permission and trust, they create a valuable asset. An email list, a dedicated community. That leads to profoundly lower customer acquisition costs, higher lifetime value, and it protects your business from the whims of, algorithm changes.
Let's use the kitchen knives example. The interruption approach is just running cold BUY now ads on Facebook.
You pay for every impression, zero guarantee. It's constantly expensive.
Whereas the permission approach is, what? Creating high-value content first.
Exactly. Detailed cooking techniques, guides on knife sharpening, interviews with chefs. You build an email list of food enthusiasts who want your expertise.
So when you launch a new knife, you're marketing to people who have already raised their hand. They already trust you.
They share the identity of being a serious cook. Their conversion rates will be multiples higher than a cold audience because that trust is already pre-built.
We saw that in the financial advisor example. He spent 6 months sending a weekly email just about retirement planning for teachers.
Pure value, zero pitch.
So when those teachers needed actual one-on-one advice, his closing rate wasn't hovering around 20% like his competitor.
It jumped to 80% because he had spent 6 months earning the asset of trust. That's the strategic difference between renting attention and owning a relationship.
Okay, so what does this all mean for you right now? The core shift Godin is advocating for is pretty simple. Stop trying to convince the masses. Start serving someone specific.
Stop chasing better. Start being fundamentally different. And stop interrupting strangers. Start earning permission and building trust.
And we want to leave you with an immediate, actionable task. This is a 5-step, 10-minute exercise to kickstart this process based directly on the sourcing.
Okay. Grab a piece of paper or open a new note. Step 1, write down the answer to the question, who is my smallest viable audience? And be specific, not small business owners.
But something like second-generation family restaurant owners struggling to attract younger customers.
Perfect. Step 2. Describe their identity. Finish this phrase. People like us do things like this. What are their core values? Legacy, efficiency. Write it down.
Step 3. Now look at your current website or your social media bio. Does it speak specifically to the person you just defined, or does it try to appeal to everyone? Be ruthlessly honest with yourself.
Step 4. Write just one powerful, specific sentence that would resonate only with that SVA. Use their language, reference their unique pain. For the restaurant owner, it might be, stop chasing trends and start selling the legacy your family built.
I like that. And finally, step 5. Post that single specific sentence somewhere. People will see it this week. Make it your website header, an email subject line, a social media caption. Take that first step away from generic marketing.
And move toward powerful, focused service. Because here is Godin's concluding thought, and this should really guide your actions. Marketing is not about you. It's about the change you seek to make in the world for the people you serve. The smallest viable audience is waiting. Sustainable growth doesn't start with a giant budget. It starts with this one step of extreme focus.